Before I start this video, I want to get out of the way. When I say retard strength, I don't mean any negative connotation in that word. It's merely a word that's been used for 200 years, a definition that's been used for 200 years, a generic term, so to speak. I'm not necessarily saying that the people I'm talking about in this video have any sort of less intelligence than anybody, even including myself. I know plenty of people with type of disabilities I'm going to be talking about in this video that are incredibly smarter than me, incredibly smarter than I could ever dream of. So with that being out the way, if you get offended in this video, I'm just going to tell you to grow up, and it's just a generic term, buddy. So just deal with it. With that being said, retard strength is real. Besides the personal experiences that I've had beyond in countless measures, as many of you know, I do partake in wrestling from time to time, and I have come across some unique individuals that obviously you can tell there's something developmentally, I don't want to say lackluster, but a little bit behind. Obviously, they might have a mental disability or something like that, but it's not incredibly bad. You know, it's a light mental disability, a light something wrong. Like they're still completely functional, probably more functional than a lot of people, actually normal people are. But obviously, you can tell there's something wrong with them. And a lot of times, these people barely lift weights, you know, barely in the gym or anything like that, and they're incredibly strong, strong beyond measure. Like you tie up with these guys, you're like, oh man, what's this guy doing? Like I knew this one guy, the strongest guy I've ever tied up with in my high school wrestling room. I think he's doing like MMA now or something. But the only exercise, the only like real weightlifting type thing I ever saw him do was we have like these row machines in our wrestling room. One time he stood like in front of the row machine and did tricep extensions with the row machine like that. That's the most weightlifting I ever saw him do, and that man was as strong as an ox. So obviously, you know, there's obviously some correlation there. You know, the more of a certain type of disability that you have, obviously, I believe, anyways, from my own personal experience, that you are stronger. Not only from my own personal experience, I've also found evidence from the World Wide Web. Now, if you look up on the World Wide Web, is retard strength real? It'll just say, no, it's a derogatory term often used to pit people into groups, blah, 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 you know, the basic offensive stuff. But, you know, I'm obviously here to do some real digging, you know, some real truth finding. So what I did come across is that this one study that found that people with autism, especially lighter term autism, they don't have any negative side effects in terms of like decreased strength. They have normal strength. So obviously there's this graph. I'm going to pull it up. Obviously the bottom, I forgot what the letters are, but it's like how severe much autism you have. Obviously there's a graph and it goes down. The more severe your autism, the less strength you have. But if we see the less severe autism, you have a normal strength of a normal person. Now you might be saying, well, yeah, that's just normal strength. So how does this explain this quote unquote retard strength? Again, a generic term, no offense mean by it. But what it is people with autism are often found to have increased growth hormones. So if you have increased growth hormones, right, basically steroids, in another term, yes, people use growth hormones. I think one of the most famous people, Mike O'Hearn, a lot of people say he's on growth, but I don't really know. But yeah, a lot of pro bodybuilders and stuff will use growth hormones and stuff like that. But the growth hormones, basically, if you just lift a little bit of weight or you do a little bit of physical activity, you'll become stronger than the average person without having to put in as much work as the average person. Because again, you have that growth hormone, which is acting almost as a natural steroid in your body. So with that being said, again, retard strength, generic term, mean nothing by. I know a lot of people, you know, that would be classified as having this are a lot smarter than me, a lot smarter than I could ever dream of. Obviously, I'm probably not as smart as the guy with autism. You know, they got some unique capabilities and stuff like that. But again, it's just a generic term that's been used for 200 years, and that's really the only thing I know how to describe it as a generic term. So with that being said, yes, I have proven evidence in this video, no matter what the internet tells you or people get offended by, that quote-unquote retard strength is a real thing, because people with autism, and I haven't looked into other disabilities, but I'm sure there's something similar, they have increased growth hormone, allowing them to, obviously, their body to perform better and their body to develop more, inducing this increased strength. With that being said, stay safe and stay hydrated.